What's up, guys? Me and Dr. Matt are going to go run you guys through a shoulder/upper body warm-up and mobility drill, and then followed by like a short shoulder burner that you can use either at the beginning or at the end of your workout.
All right, guys, so I'm Matt. For everyone, I think I met just about everybody that's watching this video now currently. So what I want to do is I want to go over some common areas of the spine down into the wrist and elbow that can get tight. So the first part I want to touch base on, just to give you a little bit of the methodology as to why, is the thoracic spine. So that's our area from here to here. And if we're raising our shoulder, we're going to do anything overhead right here. About 120 degrees is actually coming from our shoulder. Everything else has to do with the way our spine moves. So we're going to start with these two activities in order to help get this part of your spine to move backwards this way. And then we'll go into some things for the shoulder and then one wrist stretch to help out with the elbows here. So the first thing we have here is, for the video today, we're using a slam ball, but at your house you can use a basketball, a soccer ball, or any spherical object. I tend to like a ball for the rollout activity more than a foam roller because it's spherical, so it kind of goes more towards the contour of your spine or helps you to stretch out a little bit more. So for today's purposes, we're just going to go through 5 reps of the first 2 activities. At home, I'd like for you to at least get 15 of them just to really get those joints lubricated and loosened up. Bill, what I'm having you do is lay on your back on this ball, support your head and neck with your arms here, and then all Bill's going to do here is he's going to push through his legs and roll as far back as you can. So push through, so roll up a little bit toward your head. Yep, and kind of like roll back down, just along length of spine. So you might find a tight or restricted area. When you find it, like say Bill's area is right here, he's going to kind of take his arms, do a little crunch up, so curl up, curl back down, like go into the contour of the spine there, crunch up, do about 2 to 5 reps there, and then continue to roll. So that kind of is like one of your 15 repetitions there. And the cool thing about using a ball too, that's why I like this more than a foam roller, is you can also, don't be afraid to kind of go off the spine and shimmy over all towards the ribs, so you can hit some of those more tightened areas as well. So 15 repetitions, all the way up from about your belly button area, or just a little bit higher to the bottom of your ribs, all the way up to about where your neck and your upper back meets. Roll that area out to help get it loosened up. Bill, hop up on your hands and knees here, brother. And probably face towards the camera here just so you can get a little bit better of a view. So for this activity, this is gonna be a rocking or a way to improve rotation of our spine just to get a little active range of motion with it. So the first thing I'm going to have Bill do here is he's going to sit his butt onto his heels with his forearms flat on the ground here, okay? And what I want to do is he's going to put one arm behind his head and neck here, and he's going to try to look up or come up as high as he can towards the ceiling and bring it back down. And he's going to go through this 15 repetitions on each arm. So go through a few times on this side, and we'll switch it over and do the same thing just on the opposite. And he got a little pop there, so that was free. That's perfect. No charge there. Yeah, bring it back down. Perfect. Okay, so 15 reps there. So that's going to help, just some activities to help you get your spine loosened up. So say if you're doing a handstand push-up, you're doing a overhead press, you're going to say, wow, number 1, I'm not getting that pinchy sensation or feeling when I'm doing that activity. Number 2, you're going to probably notice you're going to be able to push more weight with greater ease if you work on that mobility drill. So it's something quick you can work on at home. Next, I want to go over one of my favorite activities for the shoulder joint itself. So if we're just isolating right into our shoulder joint right here, it's called a CAR, or a controlled articular rotation. So the joint, if you think of the joint right here as a big sphere, this is taking our joint, it's moving through its entire range of motion, so that way you really get that joint lubricated or loosened up. So what Bill's going to do first, he's going to have a straight arm, hands, right here. He's going to bring his spine, everything up comes nice and tall. His arm, he's going to come bring it over, across his midline. Try not to turn your spine here. So come up, over, keep that elbow straight here. Good. And then as soon as you get up to the top, right here, you're going to turn, arm in, and then come all the way back down. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. Good. Actually, hold on. It jacked up a little bit. It's hard to say that thing. So let me go through it first right here. So what I want you to do is with a straight arm, what you're going to do with the elbow locked out, come straight up across your body, all the way once you hit the top. Once you hit the top, you're going to start turning your arm as far back as you can, coming straight around your body, so your thumb is pointed backwards, okay? Then you're going to come back around, turn up with the thumb pointing up towards the ceiling, rotate, sweep it across midline. So to get a side view here, just so you guys can see it. So my elbow is locked, it's straight. I'm doing my best to not do any movement of my spine here. I'm gonna come up, over, across, around. Once I get up here, coming in, bring it back, sweep straight back, rotate, come around, sweep across midline there. So that way you're gonna really feel it in your shoulder. If you start off and you're like, wow, that really big range of motion is really poppy, it's pretty uncomfortable, start with like a little car or little rotation there, just so that way you're not as irritable with that motion there. The last thing for the shoulder here, because when Bill starts talking here in a little bit, we're going to get to some PVC passovers just for the warm up of the shoulder. So what we're going to do is around the world. So just I'm sure as most of you guys know from a class, just since we did the car, just so that way we're used to because the car isolates the shoulder just so we're hitting the joint. What we want to do is get used to a straight pipe-like object, such as a barbell. So we're going to use PVC pipe. Don't have a PVC pipe at home, use a broomstick, a mop. Even if you're like really scrapped with items, you can use a belt or a dog leash. Even though it's not firm, you can try to hold it just tighter, just if you're looking for something to do this activity or do an activity that you need to warm up with. So for the passover, what I want you to do is you're going to keep the elbow straight, sweep one arm over your head, come right back around the back, and then the opposite arm is going to reach up and over. You're going to repeat that about 10 times onto each side, and that way we're going to kind of loosen up the shoulders after the car. So we'll watch Bill here. Perfect. And just go through. So just try to get those shoulders nice and loose. And after you feel this activity, or you go through this series, you're going to notice like, wow, my shoulders are feeling pretty loose, warmed up. And then a lot of things for your overhead movements are going to be way easier. Last thing we're going to do is a wrist flexor stretch. So, Bill, what I want you to do is come up on your hands and knees here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to keep your palms flattened onto the ground. And what I want you to do is you're just going to shift your butt back. Pretty locked up in some wrist extension there, brother. Yeah, man. All right, so what I want you to do is hold for 2 to 5 seconds and then come back forward. Come all the way up. Come on down. Good. Just kind of hold for about a 2 to 5 second count. Bring it on forward. So that way we're trying to get our wrist to bend back this way, because say if we're limited, if our wrist isn't getting back to just a little bit past here, or we're doing something, say, weight bearing or loading, handstand push-up, a regular push-up, what that's going to do is that's just going to jam up into our elbow joint, so that'll make it a little tight. So what Bill's going to do again is just come into that stretch position. Yep. So shift your body weight back, give it a 2 to 5 second hold, shift your body weight forward, shift back and forward. Go through that about 15 times just to get those wrists, elbows warmed up too.
All right, guys, now for part 2. So now that the shoulders are nice and warmed up, we're going to do a little shoulder routine, right, or a little upper body routine, and you can mix in different pieces, and I'll kind of go through that. But we'll do a basic one here that you can do at your house with no equipment or minimal equipment, and then I'll tell you guys as we're going along how you can make it harder or more difficult or whatever. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go through 4 movements. Okay, the first one's going to be scapular push-ups, right? So I'm going to have Matt, he's going to turn sideways, he's going to get down on all fours. So in that nice table position, he's going to take his shoulder blades, right? He's going to first start by driving his back up and pushing his shoulder blades through all the way as far as he can push them, and then keeping his arms locked out, he's going to suck them back down. He's going to imagine trying to suck his shoulder blades and his scaps and push them through his chest. So that would be 1 rep. So he's going to drive out, drive back in. Okay, so that would be like a normal scap work. Now, if you can make it more advanced, he's going to come up into an actual push-up position. Right. So now he's nice planked, not squeezed tight, so he's nice and flat. And again, do the same thing. He's going to drive his shoulders up and then back down. The key is keeping that elbow locked out. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one's going to be shoulder taps. So maintaining that same position, right? He's going to get in his push-up position. Sometimes widening your feet out makes a big difference. So keeping everything in line, right? So wrist, elbow, shoulder joint should all be in alignment. He's going to pick up one hand, he's going to cross it over his body, touch his shoulder, and put it back down. That'll be one for the right, and then he's going to go one for the left. Okay, so go ahead and do 5 for us, just like this. Now, obviously, what you can see is he's doing a good job at trying to keep that rotation, right? So if you weren't stabilizing, right, and you're trying to rush through, go ahead and do a bad one. See how the hips are rotating out? That's not what we want. We want to stay as flat as possible, right? So it's not a race, because in that position, he's using stability, using his core to make sure that he doesn't fall over. The next one's going to be pike push-ups. So you're going to start, he's going to get up into the downward dog position. So downward dog, right? For most of us, our heels aren't going to be able to touch the ground, but he's pushing back as far as he can. This position right here, head through his hands, right? So the same as if you're pressing a barbell, the same as if you're going to do a handstand push-up. So what he's going to do is he's going to break, he's going to bring his forehead down in front of his hands, just like a handstand push-up, touch, and then back up, and then back up into that position. Now what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have him turn his elbows down, so when he comes down, so coming down, turn your elbows this way. So here, go ahead and come back up. So one thing that you can do is turn your thumbs forward. There we go. Come on back down, and then back up. As he's pushing through, he's making sure that he's getting all the way back into this position, okay? Now that one can be a little bit difficult, so if you can't come all the way through, you can put something for your head to touch. The key though, you can rest. The key though is that if his hands are in this alignment, his head has to go past his. All right, and we're back from commercial break. So we're going to do some pass-throughs. So elbows locked out, arms straight, standing up nicely at attention. He's going to bring the PVC pipe or the broomstick all the way around. So as he's coming up, he's shrugging his shoulders hard, and as he's bringing it around back, he's squeezing his scaps behind him. And then likewise, when he goes back, he's going to squeeze his scaps, shrug his shoulders, and come around for that. So go ahead and do 5 of those. The key here is to not speed through it. Nice, slow, controlled motions. If this was too easy for him, and it was a nice, easy range of motion, he's going to bring his hands in to challenge the position. Okay, if he gets to a point where he gets stuck, your hands have been in too far, go ahead and bring them back out. Okay, so the dosage for this would be, right, 3 sets of 10. You're going to go 10 scat push-ups, 10 shoulder taps on each side, 10 pike push-ups, and 10 pass-throughs. 3 rounds, and that should be a good little at-home shoulder workout for you.